as indicated in my CV, I have served this country, and I've served it in the breadth and width of this country. Mr. Chairman, I have served from the northern part, from Nadapal, all the way down. Nadapal is a border with South Sudan, all the way down to Trans Nzoia, to the Swam border, to the last settlement of Gituamba, down to Gotramogi in Bondo, all the way passing, having come through Kakamega and Western Kenya, where I served for 7 years as a DO and as a PC, all the way down to Kilgoris, to Gucha, down to Kilgoris, to the coast of Kenya, to Lamu at Kiunga, to all the way to border point 1 of Mandera. From there, along the border with the hills of Kiliwahiri, all the way to Turkana again, there is no place in this country I have not stepped. I bring an expansive geographical knowledge of this country that is second to none. That rich history, that rich knowledge of the geography of this country, the Chicago in Embu, Kiambu, name anywhere in this country where I have not worked. I have literally stepped in every constituency of this country.
You've been to Marimanti?
Where?
Marimanti.
Marimanti.
You've been there?
I have been there. There's no place I have not stepped, Mr. Chairman, in this country, in my service.
Chair,
and
the nominee stepped in Nyamira because he has not served there.
Have you been to Nyamira?
Mr. Chairman,
because you didn't mention that one.
Mr. Chairman, as the PC in Nyanza, I oversaw Nyamira. And I was coordinating all the government business in Nyamira, and I have visited Nyamira n number of times. Mr. Chairman, I have a lot of attachment to that part of the region. That's where I got promoted as a PC when I was as a DC Gucha. Therefore, I bring knowledge to the commission that is second to none, Mr. Chairman. The other issue I bring to the commission, Mr. Chairman, is the knowledge in running of an election. Throughout my career, as a DO, as a DC, and as a PC, I have provided backroom support for the electoral process of this country over the years, where backroom support is requirement for security updates, requirement for logistical support, mobilizing all government resources to ensure that elections are conducted in a free and fair manner. I'll go to the next question about the issue of provincial administration. But Mr. Chairman, I am a security practitioner and a security expert. I am sure IBC requires somebody who has a full knowledge of the management structure of the security system of this country to be able to run an election, a comprehensive election in this country. Therefore, I bring, as a practitioner of security, I have been trained in paramilitary in this country. I have supervised elections over the years. I have supervised security officers, managed security officers at different levels of this country, and therefore I believe I bring on board a very important skill to IBC. Thirdly, Mr. Chairman, IBC cannot operate in isolation. It's not an island. IBC works with other government agencies. And I bring on board a skill and network of knowledge of coordinating government businesses across the country. And therefore, I can be able to relate to the people in the field. I can relate to the people in the National Police Service. I can relate to the politics of this country. And therefore, I understand how to manage the election process by bringing this coordinative role of government networks to IBC. Mr. Chairman, the other issue I bring on board, election is basically a conflict field. It's a conflict arena. And as a conflict arena, you have to have somebody who is well-versed in conflict management. Throughout my working life as an administrator, I have managed conflict between communities. So, Chairman, I think in the years of 2007, 2008, 2006, I got posted to Rift Valley in 2006. And when I arrived there, the province was literally on fire. We had conflict between Pokots and Turkanas, Samburus and Turkanas, all the pastoral communities in the northern part of this country were at each other. Mr. Chairman, I managed to make sure that process of conflict was reduced to the minimal, and we brought everything to a peaceful, we brought peace and sanity in the province, and therefore, as a conflict manager, I have no doubt that I will be an asset to IEBC.
Good. Now, tie that with the provincial administration. Discredited for bungling elections. Bearing in mind, I think in 1988, you were DO. And we know exactly what you did, even if we were in school then. We know exactly what happened in 1988, because it's purely provincial administration that handled those elections, and we know what the results were. So how do you marry that experience, which is negative, with what you've given us, which is very positive?
Tie that also with the 2007 situation in Rift Valley, because he was right there. Was he part of the problem or part of the solution?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, provincial administration has had a history in this country, bad or good. It is a historical process in this country. And any institution and any organization is as good as the leadership and the political system of the time. It was never working in isolation. Provincial administration was not the people running election. Provincial administration was just an arm of government. Therefore, there was an election management body that was working on. It only provided support. It depended on how the system required it to provide the support at that time. I was a very young officer in...
Chair, I will want to get this clearly. I want to change, because you asked about the provincial administration. But you will agree there were some things that were done by the provincial administration that gave the elections that were conducted at that particular, really a very bad name.
Mr. Chairman...
He has said actually that, it depends on how he was told to do it.
Mr. Chairman...
So let's hear a little bit more of that.
Mr. Chairman, definitely every organization has its own excesses, and excesses can happen. I was a very young officer. I was barely 2 years old in service. I was inconsequential as far as the 1988 election is concerned. And from there, we moved on to the 1992 multi-party democracy. Things changed. And therefore, there's definitely excesses. Every organization has its own dark history. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. There may have been excesses, but I was too young to make any difference at that time. And therefore, 2007, Mr. Chairman, I was the provincial commissioner for Rift Valley. And when I arrived there, I told you there has been a lot of conflict within the region. In Molo, in Turkana, in Samburu, in all over across, in Trans Nzoia, everywhere there are conflicts. And we managed to bring the conflict down before the elections. Of course, elections happened and there was violence. Mr. Chairman, our work is very evident. During the run-up to the election is the time I was awarded the Best Public Officer of the Year